No one can control what happens to them, but everyone has the power to choose what they feel. No one can swim against the waves, but everyone can learn how to surf. Some choose to fall into despair, while others ready their tools for repair. Because life is but a long journey, built upon excursions and memories. It's a short poem I wrote. Hope you like it. I'm in my 30s, mid to late 30s now, and for all my life, I've been afraid of making any sort of commitment or choice. I was afraid of putting myself out there. And back when I was a kid, I've had these abstract dreams of expressing myself through writing, music, acting, video making, or any form of art really, because I took a lot of inspiration from artistic expressions more than school textbooks or successful business owners or people who got rich or famous or anything like that. But I never really created anything in my teenage years or my 20s. And maybe it's partly due to the fact that I am a lazy, introverted person, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was a very judgmental person by nature. Meaning, I don't easily become moved or satiated by a work of art unless it hits a certain spot inside me or makes me develop a completely new or different perspective. You know what I mean? So, I would say that I was a very picky person with what I considered art. And I even felt arrogantly proud of myself for having a distinct taste apart from what most people enjoy. I was a quietly cocky, shallow, pompous prick, to be honest, back in the day. And I think I baked this anti-world stance, this anti-universe mentality into my whole identity just so that I could feel a sense of superiority about myself. And when you have that strong of an ego, how scary is it to create something of my own and become disappointed by the fact that I actually suck and I'm talentless, right? So that's why I never took a chance. I never tried, right? I just dwelled in my own comfort zone. And that is how I spent my entire 20s, just judging other people that are using their talent to create something worthy, while I secretly despised them for having such poor taste. And, judging is so easy. It's pretty pathetic, I know. But some people just need more time, Some people just have to go through a certain stage in order to grow, while other people just naturally know. So I guess I would just require that extra step in order to grow. And I'm sure you've heard of this before. It's a pretty popular saying that goes, those who fail to fulfill their dreams become a critic, right? Of course, I know that becoming a critic requires a completely different set of skills combined with a vast amount of knowledge. But you get what I mean. It's similar to the saying, those who can't do, teach, And I really didn't want to be that old bitter guy yelling at clouds because he missed a chance to do something when he was younger. I just didn't want to be that regretful, hateful old man with a permanent frown mark between his eyebrows. You know what I mean? So after graduating college back in 2015, I came back to Korea. I've wasted a little more time going down the typical path of getting an office job, so I got one eventually. got laid off soon because they didn't need me anymore. Found different work selling luxury watches. Did that for quite a bit and made some money before I quit. And after a few years, I finally moved out of my parents' house at the age of 27. And it's pretty late, but that's just how it is. So after I was free, I started working a part-time job and I started a band at the same time. This was right around COVID, which was around 6 years ago. So I was probably 30 or 31 at the time. And this is when I actually started creating something of my own instead of being a bitter critic of other people's work. I made a few songs, did a few shows. And at the time, I don't know why, but I was completely naive into thinking that my band would actually create a new wave of sensation. I thought that my band shared a vision and felt the same way as I did. I thought that people would recognize us for what we are worth. But outside of my own little world in my gigantic head of mine, reality is just a vast space full of so many different people. And what I think doesn't matter at all because no one truly cares about what a random person out of 8 billion people on the planet has to say. So this experience was the first time I actually put myself out there and got a harsh reality check. And I would say I learned a lot from this experience as much as I lost a lot of different things too. A humbling experience, really. So eventually, my bandmates left after about a year or so, and I continued writing a few more songs until 2 years ago. And I'm here now in the year of 2026 making videos on a weekday basis just to feel a sense of purpose in my life. And I honestly don't know how long I'll be making these videos until I quit again and move on to something else, but I'm here now at the moment. So I'm approaching 40 now, and I still can't even make a single commitment. I'm still afraid of putting myself out there. I still have a lingering, bitter resentment inside me, but I've just developed a way to control it and not show it to others in a disrespectful manner. So nothing's really changed, right? And I wish I could say that I have reached a revelation. But with all due respect, I don't have any cathartic moment I can share with you guys, nor any life-changing advice. I only have a bland story about an ordinary Korean guy just trying stuff and failing. And maybe you were probably expecting to hear something more illuminating, but this is my life. And there's no big drama, no big turning point, no climactic relief, no movie-like scenario, just life. But what I want to point out is there's nothing significant about me or what I've done, but I'm still here, right? I'm still alive, telling stories to anyone who has a moment to listen. Maybe not a lot of people might listen, but that's okay. Somehow I've managed to get out of the darkness that I was in for a long period of time. And to a lot of people, it's not a story worthy of making a fuss about on a video, but I see myself as successful. And I am. Of course, I'm still struggling. have no significant accolades or achievements, no highlights, no friends. But I'm content. I'm not depressed anymore. I'm not reactive anymore to the things that happen to me in my life. I'm not trying to swim against the waves. Instead of despair, I chose repair. I see my life as a journey, not a struggle. And for that, I am successful.